Hey, welcome back to Walking the Path podcast with yours truly, Rogelio Diaz. Thank you. Thank you for continuing to follow my journey. I know it's been some time since the last episode, but it feels good to be back. It feels good to be here and start sharing more wisdom. A lot has changed from 6 months ago, right? That was the last time I released an episode, which is some time, right? But today we're going to be going into the pathways to spirituality, a journey of spiritual growth. And I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of stories that have influenced my path in a significant way, has helped me grow significantly, has helped me find more of myself. But most importantly, it's going to help you go into your mind and really reflect on maybe certain experiences that helped you grow, right? Maybe you had a different way that spirituality or spiritual growth was introduced to your life. That's the whole goal, my friend, right? So let's jump right into it. Again, welcome back. I'm very glad to be here. And the first part that I wanted to share with you that had a huge impact on my life was when 3 years ago I went to a 4-day spiritual retreat by my buddy Vic, and I was going back and forth. Should I drive there? Should I fly there? It was during COVID, and I wasn't sure. But then I had this 7-hour QHHT session with one of my good friends, and the message ended up coming through that I should drive there. Now, I've never been on a road trip. I never done anything that adventurous on my own. And it was scary, to be honest. It was really scary. But I trusted it. I knew that was a path. I knew something good was gonna come out of me driving there. It was a 24-hour drive to Sedona, Arizona. And I said, you know what, F it. Let's see what happens, right? Because the tire could have gone out. My car could have broke down. So many things could have gone wrong. But I did it. I drove there. It was beautiful. The scenery. I felt so free. I felt so free in that time. Like I'm the most free I felt my whole life. And I was so grateful that I went. Right? And then within those 4 days, I met some really cool people. They ended up being my soul tribe. And I made the decision to stay in Sedona. I lived in Chicago for 27 years, right? And it's funny, I wanted to move out for so long, but I just, one thing after the next. If it wasn't money, it was something else, but it wasn't time. In all reality, it just wasn't time. But see, after the retreat, I realized I couldn't go back, and one thing led to the next. I stayed there. I had my car, I had my luggage, had my caps, my hats, right? And my parents helped me. They helped me make that move. They helped me cover my expenses while I was there. I didn't expect anything from them. But damn, did I grow. I felt so free. I was in Sedona, I was in Phoenix, I was traveling through Scottsdale, through Flagstaff, Arizona. That was my journey, right? And old ways came back in that time of drinking. It's surreal, guys, because you have these old identities, these old versions of you, of who you used to be. They're living in you in a sense, right? They're a part of you, or at least you think they are subconsciously. And in those moments where it's just you, that's when they start to come in, and you get to confront them again. And one of the best things that ever happened to me was that this old version came back. I went back to drinking, right? I was staying at a motel, and I would go to freaking Whole Foods and buy a bottle of wine or something, right? But I would eat vegan. I would eat healthy throughout the day. It was ludicrous. But I went back to my old ways, my old identity, so to speak. But through that, I found myself again. Sometimes you have to go back to who you thought you were to realize that's not who you are anymore. To realize who you actually want to be now. And that's what happened. I went back to my old identity. I said, this isn't even me anymore. I put that shit down. I realized, you know what? I'm better than this. I can be more than this. But I had to go through that. I had to experience that to find my true self. Right? That was my journey of growth. And there's many ways. There's many ways to grow. But I'll never forget that. I made the choice, and here we are 3 years later, you know. I'm actually living in Texas now, but it's been a hell of a journey. And the person I've become now, going through those hardships, you know, facing myself, being afraid. So many nights I was afraid, but I had to learn to trust. And I couldn't do that back at home. I had it way, way too good back at home, you know. But it's like everybody has their own unique way of going about their journey, of healing, right? Of changing themselves, in a sense, of releasing all this crap that was given to us, that was conditioned to us, and we think we are, and it's not even us. I always tell my clients, are you truly who you pretend to be? Right? This lower self, this version that doubts, that's insecure, that is hopeless, that feels like a failure, that isn't proud of anything. It's not even who they are. It's not even who I was at that time. But sometimes you got to walk through that darkness, right? It's like the trauma, the limiting beliefs, this trapped energy. It's not there to destroy you. Actually, yes and no. It's not there to keep you limited forever, right? Because I am a big believer in this one motivational speaker named Eric Thomas. He says, "Let it destroy you," right? And meaning, when you're going through stuff, let it break you, because only then you can rebuild. Only then you can see the real gift, the real lesson in it. But if you suppress it, if you try to avoid it, just avoiding your true self. There's so much light. There's so much light if you go into your shadow. But all these traumas, they're here as gifts. It's like little puzzle pieces to find yourself again, right? You go through something that maybe you thought shouldn't have happened to you. Maybe you thought you'll never recover from. But it's just a story. It's just the emotion and meaning that you gave that experience. If I told you can flip that, you can make it serve you. You can find a higher good, a higher lesson in it all. And when you find something that you value more than the pain, that's when things are going to start to change too, right? If you believe life is out to get you, and based off a certain experience that you went through, you're like, yeah, look, this happened to me. Life is out to get me. You're going to keep creating more and more stuff like that. But what if you can harvest the good, right? What if you can harvest the good? I love what Kevin Trudeau says, OG in spiritual development. He says, like, when you get a flat tire, rejoice. Jump up and down. Be happy. You don't even know what the universe was stopping you from, right? Maybe you could have got into a car accident. Maybe you could have died. You don't know. What if you meet a new opportunity from that, right? Would have never happened if you didn't get the flat tire. It's all perspective. If you can view it from up here, from this awareness that's living inside you, that you are, it can be very different the way you experience life, the way you experience reality. But if you stay stuck in who you used to be, it's going to be hard to see something new, to see a new possibility, right? Just think about that. Yeah, remind me of taking a sip. But it's interesting how your spirit will place you in the perfect situations for you to grow. Maybe they're uncomfortable, maybe they're not ideal, but they're perfect for you, you know? And every time you have these emotions that are, again, trapped in you, when you see them come up, when you feel them come up, it's because you're ready for a new level. It's because you're ready for something new to come in. You have to process this stuff, right? The stuff that's in you, so you can let it out. There's something wrong with you. It's just, again, we literally collect emotions. We create emotions, and then it stays within us for a long time. Some people die with so much unprocessed stuff. But if you're watching this, you stand a chance, right? So it's like your pathways to spiritual growth may look very, very different. Your pathways to healing, right? To releasing the trauma and the stuff that happened could look very, very different. But you gotta trust it, right? When the universe says no, what do? Kick, scream, get upset, frustrated, pissed off. I know I used to. But you get to a certain point of acceptance and you realize it really is all happening for you. You could only connect the dots looking backwards. Steve Jobs says. You gotta trust it. You gotta trust that it's not your time yet. It's because it's not your time yet. But you're being prepared. Maybe you'll attract the right people, the right situations. But if you're not ready, you're gonna lose it. There's a reason. There's a reason you haven't obtained what you think you should have already. But we get discouraged, we said, we think because it hasn't happened now, because people are ahead of us, that it's not meant for us. Most people stop after the third wall, after the third try. That's when they say, I tried. It must not be meant for me. You get tested, my friend. You get tested for what you want. How bad do you really want what you say you do? Right? Because honestly, when you don't count the cost, when you say, I'm going to show up again and again and again, and I don't care if I win, if I lose, I'm going to keep showing up till I achieve X, till I get to X. That's when you're in a whole other mentality, a whole other mindset. You're unstoppable because you literally just don't care. As you keep showing up, you're going to get that. And it's who you're going to become in the process of getting that. It's why you're doing it in the first place. But if you're not aware, you start to, go in the downward spiral. You start to believe you're not worthy, right? I love, I forgot the name of this guy, but he says, it's not about believing or seeing who you are, but more about believing or seeing who you think you're not, right? Maybe you think you're not this version that is independent, that can live their dream, that can take care of their family, right? That can be something. That's what's really stopping you. But again, that perception, those ideas, those beliefs about yourself, they come from your experiences and the emotions that were created, right? The limiting perception is really what drives that. What's at its core root of that is something that happened to you. But if you're not aware, again, you're just going to go your whole life thinking a certain way, and it's not even who you are. So maybe think about some ways. How have you been tested? Right? How did you come across spirituality? What ways did your spirit put you, or what situations did your spirit put you in to help you grow? This is how you start to understand yourself, and you start to understand the experiences more too. Because you don't become a victim, right? You don't become a victim to your circumstances. And a long time ago, I had this victim mentality ingrained in me. And when I went through, I was an actual victim. And I could have let it define me easily. I could have gone my whole life pointing the freaking finger. But the problem with that was life could do whatever it wanted with me. Right? Maybe you think of a couple situations where you're just like, well, I guess I'm powerless. I guess I have no control over this. It's just my life. BS. It's BS. And I said the same thing. But what changed is when I said no. And it took a long time to get to that no. A long time. But I said no. I will not let life do whatever the hell it wants with me. I got angry. I got pissed off at myself at the fact that I've been letting that happen for too long. But in that, I found so much strength. I found what I really wanted. I wanted back my control. I didn't want to feel powerless. I wanted to know my power. I wanted to see who the hell I was. And I was able to. I made a choice that life would never fucking just drag me around however it wanted to. And you can do the same. But it comes with a lot of pain, right? Or maybe some people are more stubborn than others, but I was pretty stubborn. So it depends how much pain you need to feel to change, right? Moving on. Another story, something that really helped me grow spiritually, was when I went to a Costa Rica retreat and worked with Mother Ayahuasca. And after the retreat, we went to this beautiful beach. We were there just relaxing, and I went on a little hike with my buddy Matt. And we were hiking, climbing, and it was tough. The terrain was tough, and I was like, you could fall, you can hurt yourself, right? It's like these huge rocks on the side of the beach, or the ocean, and we climbed to it's like a middle section, right? Middle section of the hill, and we're just looking out there. It's beautiful. We're talking, having a great time, and then we go higher, and my anxiety starts to arise. And it's getting harder to climb, right? Like this close. The climb, the pieces to get there, very narrow. And I did it. I got to the third part, right? The highest part. And then my buddy Matt, I didn't know he did this. He does this for a living, man. This guy, he can climb through wherever. I wasn't aware of that. I'm like, yo, you're doing it like a pro, brother. And I was trying to keep up with him, right? But there was this long, narrow, almost like bridge type path, and literally, you'd have to walk like 1 foot in front of the other to have enough to be able to walk over. That's all the space we had. And at first, I'm like, you know what? Like, I was afraid. I'm like, I'm going to freaking drag myself over there. Right? I was sitting down. I'm using my knees, my elbows. I'm getting scratched up from my hands. I reach halfway. I look down. I see rocks. I see the ocean. I'm like, if I fall, I'm literally going to die. A wave of fear just rushed through me. Even now, I could feel it. And I'm like, oh, snap. Should I have done this? Was this too much? Right? And halfway, I'm like, I can't do it. I can't get to the other side. It's because I'm going to have to come back this way. And I'm barely struggling to, make it this far. And I started to scrape myself back, right? Pushing, very careful. My heart is bumping. And I get to a point where I can't really see what's behind me because I'm pushing. I'm just going back. And I got to the point where I had to turn around. Because I'm sitting on my butt, I had to literally flip myself forward so my hands can be in front of me, not behind me. And that one wrong move, as Biggie Smalls says, gets Swiss cheesed up. One wrong move, I slip, I'm done. Goodbye. But I had to. Because I literally, if I kept going with my hands behind, I for sure would have slipped. So I'm like, well, here we are. It's all you, Spirit. And it's funny though, because throughout the whole way back, I just kept telling myself, I love you, Roy. I love you. I love you. I love you. I don't know why. I just started saying that. But after, I guess thinking about it, right, I think I wanted to, if I was going to go out, I wanted to make sure I went out loving myself. And like I really thought I was going to die. And I did the flip. I switched, got my hands in front, made it to a flatter surface, right? My heart was racing. Guys. And the fear just took over my vessel. And the thing is, that fear was already in me. The situation triggered this fear that I felt my whole life. And it was surreal to feel it in that time, like the full intensity of this fear that's been in my body my whole life. And I was waiting for Matt. He was having this fun. He came back, and then it was time to go down. I'm literally like, my legs are shaking. Like I'm barely. What was an easy climb now is the hardest thing ever going down. And I'm holding on to the rocks. I'm like, I'm inching my way down, sitting down. And again, I'm like, I can't slip up. If I put my hand on a rock in a wrong position, if I put my hand in the wrong area, with the dirt and the rocks, it'll easily slip up. I can easily slip. And I'm coming down, and Matt's like cheering me on. He's like, "Come on, you can do this, Roy. You can do this. You got this, buddy. You got this." And he recorded me. In that video, when I saw it, you can smell the fear. I've never done something like that in my life. I was so afraid. And I was like, I got my hand got messed up because I was pressing on the dirt, on the stones, because I was clinging on for dear life. And little by little, inch by inch, I got down. I got down the hill. My legs were so fucking weak. My whole body was shaking. Like paralyzed, pretty much. And I just remember like I remember thinking in the moment I was slowly inching my way down, I'm gonna need a helicopter. I'm gonna be on the news today. I can't do this. I need help. I need somebody I need a helicopter to come and pick me up. And that was my own stuff. My own limitations. That I can't do hard things, that I can't do this by myself, that I need somebody else, that I need someone to save me, that I need, right? Someone to come and support me, or because I can't do it. But that day, I did it, and while it was the scariest thing I ever gone through, nothing I go through now is ever going to top that. At least I think so. Like the strength, the confidence that I gained from going through something like that, through that path, right? Through that journey of my spiritual growth. I'm taking it with me forever. So, all those hard things that you go through, guys, they're building you. They're making you tap into something that's already there. But can you see it? Or do you think, life is just life? Bad things always happen to you. What are you really believing about yourself when you say stuff like that? Right? You're living in the past. What about now? Right now, if you wanted to, you can go for a walk. If you wanted to, you can if you really wanted to, you can hit the gym. If you really wanted to, you can do anything. But it's in here. I've seen so many talented people, including myself, stop themselves, sign themselves off because of the beliefs they have in here. But when you challenge them, when you go through experiences like the ones that I shared with the retreat and with Matt, coming down the hill, you ask yourself, who am I really? Right? This limited version or this infinite potential? You get to decide. But it's up to you. Right? So whatever paths, whatever journeys your spirit is taking you towards on your life, it's taking you to spiritual growth, right? One way or another. Trust it. Trust what you cannot understand. It always makes sense when you look back. Every time. Every time. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. If you want to learn more about my services, my products, go ahead and check out the link in the description. Thank you for joining me today. And remember, don't count the cost. Don't count the cost of your dreams, of what it costs to find who you came here to be. Till next time.